I had a lot of resistance to share this today. Imagine how the devil didn't want us to know or to prevent for us knowing the ways into hell. That's what I want to follow up with the masterclass we had yesterday. And this is not minor what was left out, and this is one of the devices that our ego will drive our attention to not see these signs. Yesterday we talked about the signs we meet when we are walking our path, and one of the traps of the devil is to not even care, to deny, right? And there's the giving for granted that is automatic. It's like, yes, I have heard that. Of course, been there, done that, heard that. That's already to pretend that I am already there, that I already know it. So I don't have to go in again or to go deeper or to really care if I'm considering it. So that's one of the signs that we have to check on ourselves. If the devil already is not leading our attention, making not see the signs when we hear our voice, yes, been there, done that, heard that, yes, I already know. So that giving for granted is a way or a segue or like a deviation for hell, going for hell, not seeing the signs of where you are and pretending that you are in the correct course and you keep moving away from your path by giving for granted. There are ways into hell as well. These are more from inspired in real life and also reminded by Jordan Peterson in one of his conferences. Talks about, yes, there are ways to hell as first lying even in the micro things that we think is like just like this to solve it fast, it's more comfort, easy to just say a little lie. The problem with that is that you will believe it, or the others will believe it, or worse, even you will believe it. And you will believe that lying a little bit, of saying partial truths, it's okay. And then your reality will be chaotic because you have been splitting what you say and what you believe and what is. So lying is one way to get into hell. So then we go to the ways out. Resentment, being resentful for something that happened and keeping it there and thinking that everything is wrong and what was happening to me is wrong and keeping it there, not resolving it there, swallowing up and keeping the resent inside. And that is very dangerous because that makes our reality permeable to be possessed by devil-like patterns, souls, entities, because they feed on that resentment, on that emotional venom inside that is cultivating the resent. As we see how many people are possessed by not having expressed what they happened to life, what they felt as injustice, they have not solved them, and as not understanding the resent is in there. So, as Carl Jung talks, it's like a deep archetypical possession that takes over. And that's a way to hell, that suddenly there's so much food inside of you with that resent that something comes to eat you from inside and drag you down. Resent. And here Jordan Peterson talks about arrogance, that is the kind of the main stigma of Satan, Lucifer, all the devil's mythology, that arrogance is something that we believe that we are beyond something, but while we may not be up to or beyond or above something. So I like to say that as not to generate fake humbleness, like, oh, I will just lower myself down because I'm scared of arrogance. I prefer truth. If you really believe something, put it out. I prefer a truth soberb, or soberb is better than arrogance in connotations. But I prefer, if you are feeling some arrogance, put it out. I prefer some truthful arrogance than fake humbleness. That's kind of already lying, deceiving yourself. So arrogance, in a sense, is being deceived, the distortion of our perception by the ego possession, believing that you are above something, that you are already perfect, that you do not have mistakes. So you just are, and the world has to adapt to you. And there's nothing wrong with you. There's no shadow, there's nothing that has to be addressed. So that's a structure that will collapse and generate chaos in the bubble of the life we thought that we were living, or who we were, the structure of who we are. So that was the beginning of yesterday's class, understanding how the chaotic situation, how hell-like states can happen in our life. And I will add, because the class inspired me a lot, I will add that the giving for granted who we are, that we know what we know, the things that are around us, giving for granted our life experiences, the guidance, the opportunities, everything, giving for granted is a way to hell as well, because we being impermeabilized, hermetic, to not let anything else in, because we just have it. So technically, we don't need it. We don't need to grow. We don't need to nourish ourselves or to remind ourselves of things that we may have forgotten. So that's the inertia of the ego as well. And I will share now a picture of the, I will share in the videos or any channel the picture of the sources of karma, that is the suffering, the roots of karma, that are the kleshas in the yogic traditions, as what is generating suffering in me, and is very parallel to what we have been working yesterday, even that we have been working in the ways out of hell, of these hell-like states. These are the ways in. If you want to know the ways out, first, it's nice to prevent. Anytime you can prevent holding into resentment, lying, keeping arrogance, or giving for granted, you will be already saving yourself and the persons around you a lot of suffering. Okay, for getting more awareness on the navigation in our reality and our states, if you want to get the masterclass we did yesterday, please send me a message, and see you in the next Initiatic Teachings.